A young priest called Ken Leach came here, and immediately he started working with people on the street, especially the young on the street.
And the places like this were a godsend. It was somewhere you could go and you get maybe a night or two or three. 3 was your maximum, as I remember. Yeah. And then you change your name and try and get another. They didn't really know who you were.
To get in, you might have to be at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And sometimes you still didn't get in, because even when you got to the gate, there might have been 10, 15 people already at the gate.
So you would make up a list of people you were expecting to see that could come in. 8 o'clock you went to the gates with one of the volunteers, and there would be 20, 30, on rare occasions 40 people on Shaftesbury Avenue, some of whom you would be expecting, so I would tend to let them in as quickly as possible to reduce the numbers. Then you would ask people just for their name and age. Often people lied about their age, either saying they were older than they were because they were underage, or younger than they were because they wanted to get in, and we had an age limit. So, and just a few questions about why they wanted accommodation. It was difficult because you were trying to use the beds here for the people who were most vulnerable, and because you were very aware that if you filled the place up by 9 o'clock and then somebody very vulnerable turned up at midnight, you might not have a bed.
And having that team of volunteers was completely critical to the operation. It meant that there were people around to talk.
People felt safe here. That's the crucial thing. And that's because the team and the volunteers made it so. Centrepoint relied on the volunteers enormously because they came from other backgrounds, so they could introduce into a discussion or a chat with the kids their normal lifestyle. They could talk about things outside. And it was, I think that made it normal, rather than a sort of going into a social work, an interview with a social worker or a probation officer. You are allowed to be yourself.
Getting back into the shelter at 8 o'clock was just such a joy. I arrived into King's Cross, stayed in a squat in King's Cross before I got to you. King's Cross was not how it is now. The West End was not set up the way it is now. It was full of vulnerable people.
We were really conscious of how dangerous it was. I mean, so there you are, you know, the young people had no money, nothing. They had no way of getting a roof over their head, but we tried at least to make sure that people were safe at night. You know, so at least when they came to us, there was somewhere that was absolutely safe. And that's not just about the sort of physical security, it is about giving people decent food. You know, it is about, and people would eat together, you know, and it is about having trusted adults there, and about trying to make sure that the place was clean and decent, and there's no television. So it was very basic, but hopefully it was a refuge.
I stayed with Centrepoint during 1991-92. My memories of Centrepoint mainly involved knowing that you could go to sleep and you wouldn't be disturbed by anybody. You just felt safe. I experienced kind and loving staff. A particular lady at Vauxhall seemed to notice if there was something wrong. Even if we didn't go and approach her, she would come to you and take you aside and find out if you were okay and what was going on and what she could do to help. I just always felt that I was safe. And definitely there's nowhere else that I would have got that from.
So yeah, I found myself homeless following basically a bad home life, relationship breakdown, family breakdown. I had the freedom, but at the same time, it wasn't a freedom. You know, there was no warm bed to go back to, no warm bath. But I did whatever I could to stay safe and stay alive. I was scared a lot of the time, because you didn't know what was coming next. I woke up one morning and literally someone who was sleeping next to me in a churchyard literally was being stabbed in their sleep. I ended up at Centrepoint after staying at a night shelter that was run by another organisation, and they put me in touch with Centrepoint. I went down there and had an interview, and then I got told I was being awarded a place there. I had a key worker at Vauxhall, his name was Shab, and he was like a big brother to me, really. If I was down, he'd try and lift me up to make sure that I didn't go so far down that I'd relapse. Even when I did relapse, it was brilliant. He was like, come on man, what are you doing? You're doing so well, don't go backwards. Thank you, in a word. Yeah, thank you to Centrepoint from the bottom of my heart. Keep doing what you do.
My name's Emmeline. I was a resident in a hostel in Hammersmith for 1 year and 1 month. This is way back in 2007. Before I came to Centrepoint, I was at a point in my life where I couldn't see a future. I was contemplating suicide. My daily routine was self-harm. There was no light at the end of the tunnel for me. It was just a brick wall. And they really did change my life. They helped me become confident. They helped me with my public speaking. They helped me realise that I can do what I want to do, and it's not just during that time during Centrepoint, it's since I've left that I've even grown. I went to uni and I did my psychology degree, and they were actually the first people to offer me a job, and that was something that I was so grateful for. I was able to complete my uni degree, and I'm really passionate about helping young people and staying in the charity sector. They've kind of given me the courage to push myself and realise that I can do anything I want to achieve. It made me realise I can go out of my comfort zone, I can challenge myself, and then that was that mindset that Centrepoint allowed me to have and to grow.
We should celebrate the work that has been done, because that work has been amazing and it has been transformational in the lives of many young people. But that doesn't stop the need for making a noise and making a fuss. There have been myriad failures of public policy decision making. The extent to which street sleeping has grown again is a consequence of not investing in the services that people need at the moment of trauma or crisis.
2019 marks Centrepoint's 50th anniversary. While many things have changed over those 5 decades, the spectre of young people sleeping rough, which is why Centrepoint was founded in the first place, is still with us. A stairwell, a bus, a stranger's bed. No young person should be forced to choose which of these places to sleep in. A hidden crisis is unfolding across our country, leaving thousands of young people at risk of homelessness. We want a society that builds up young people when they hit rock bottom, one that opens doors for the next generation, not force them onto the streets, and one that pulls together to make sure every young person has a safe place to call home. That's why we need your support to help us change this story for homeless young people.